So yeah, new moon in Gemini. Exciting time. We are going to talk about the aspects surrounding it and also what it is prepping us, because the solar eclipse that's happening in August is a new moon as well. So we want to begin to get into the habit, if we aren't already, into manifesting and sowing the seeds and setting the intentions. So with that being said, let's really look at this solar eclipse that's happening August 21st, 2017. This is going to be conjunct the North Node in Leo, also with Mars, a fire planet, in a fire sign. We got the Sun, which is fire personified, the individual. And sometimes, so fire is not like a burning building. Esoterically, fire is represented in action, represented in the individual. So if I'm saying fire, I really mean myself. So generally, is fire is actually an action, it's a feeling, it's heat. So it's passion, it's empowerment. Thus, you got the Sun, Mars, North Node representing what's to come, with the Moon as just like the unconscious, deep, dark, like coming from a place that you don't even know that you had this in you, but you kind of felt that you had this in you, but this actually being the time for one to actually manifest. And so powerful time. So continuing with the theme of fire, we have a grand trine in all fire signs. Those signs are Uranus, which is in Aries, which we talk about a lot, and that is trining the North Node and Saturn. The North Node is in Leo, which is another fire sign. Saturn in Sagittarius, another fire sign. So we have these three planets forming a perfect trine over the next 8 months or so. These are slow moving planets. So ultimately, think about the children that are being born during this time, the kind of spirits that the earth is now fostering and energizing. This isn't about old systems. This is about a new paradigm that the individual forges. Man, there's so much going on that you could actually access to empower you right now. Technology is moving faster than you can comprehend. Literally, you don't have to lift a finger if you don't want to, but we must. So these aspects are empowering you, and I'll get into detail. So Uranus in Aries is a fire sign, a me sign. It's the first sign. It is a cardinal sign. And Uranus is all about the spirit, the individual, the revolutionary. And then you have that trining Saturn in Sagittarius. Saturn is about limits and restrictions, but a lot of people cringe when they hear Saturn. But if you take a step back and realize that limits and restrictions are normal and they are healthy, because you get to learn in space, and it's not just everything poured upon you. You know, everybody uses bowls, everybody uses cups, and these are representative of Saturn. It's like the cup is limiting and restricting, but it serves a purpose, a divine purpose that allows you to ingest liquids without, using your hand. Like, imagine life without cups. So imagine life without the Saturn influence. And back to Uranus, trining that. So understanding that, what I just said, And then you couple that with the North Node, which is all about what is to come in Leo. Now you cooking. You really are cooking. And things are starting to come together, and you're starting to do your own thing, and you're starting to get blessed because you're following your own inner guidance system, and you're doing what works for you. You're doing what's best for you. And that's empowering, man. And that's beautiful. So, with that being said, moving on to May 25th, Venus squaring Pluto. This is the first major aspect to Venus. And now that it's out of retrograde, now that it's out of shadow, now that you have spent time in assessing and realizing the relationship, hopefully you didn't move too fast, because now you're starting to see. But ultimately, with this Plutonic energy in Capricorn, we ultimately have to understand that where we are is a magical situation, that the world has changed, life has changed, we are magical divine beings. And that is the square, that is the obstacle, that is the challenge. Now that Venus is in Aries, another fire sign, where Venus is like, I need a situation like this. I don't need it like I used to have it. And am I making the right choices? Ultimately, the truth is the right choice. Ultimately, those who don't like it, they can step off. This is a time of endings and new beginnings. So relationships are going to end and relationships are going to begin. Relationships are going to become stronger based upon the truth. Or you see the person that you're actually dealing with. Ultimately, this Venus square Pluto transit invites truth into our lives. And that is a scary thing for a lot of people, and also an empowering thing for others, depending on what vibration that you have been moving thus far. So ultimately, we move on to the new moon in Gemini, May 25th. Now, the darkness. Out of darkness comes light. Understanding the power of planting seeds and what seeds ultimately become. You can take something very, very small and cultivate it and water it and get rid of the weeds and continue to build upon this idea and have a great and massive tree. This is what nature shows you over and over again abundantly. So, Gemini, dealing with the mental, dealing with the dark twin. So Gemini is a story of twins, Castor and Pollux. The light twin is there. It wants to be loved. It wants to be accepted. The dark twin simply wants the truth. So, if you trying to serve one or the other, if you are trying to serve one or the other, thus you deal with little technical difficulties. So, sorry for the delay, but understanding planting seeds and how powerful it is to plant seeds, to mentally get behind this idea, to understand that this is not a passive activity. This is a serious time to act, dealing with the fire energy surrounding this new moon in Gemini, where we are understanding the truth of our reality and understanding that we have to combine the truth. Because what the thing about Gemini, if you do not honor the dark twin, then the dark twin will wreak havoc in your personal life, in your professional life, in your life, period. So you cannot ignore the dark side of Gemini. So, what can happen in this new moon in Gemini? Focus, meeting distraction, and continue focus, understanding distraction. Feeding into distraction is that dark twin wreaking havoc because you're not acknowledging it or not honoring it. The new moon falls on a Thursday. So Jupiter is all about expansion. It's all about wealth creation, finances. So new moon, plant those seeds. Play the lottery. Take a step in that direction of risk meets reward. Ask questions in the morning and allow the day to answer those questions. With this new moon in Gemini energy, it's going to be starting now and a couple days after. So really deal with the energy. Understand the energy. Understand that you cannot serve two masters. We have to learn to unify that which is truth and that which is us wanting to be loved. Sometimes those things butt heads. And this Gemini energy is going to bring that. The moon is subconscious, unconscious energy coming to the surface. So, people will project this on you. You will project this on others. We need to understand the energy, so we don't get caught up in it and act irrationally or try to meet stupidity with stupidity. So peace. With that being said, this is the Hood Mystic. It's an exciting week, exciting time. Remember, it's all about the effort, welfare. All of these social services are coming to an end. So we must do something. We cannot sit back and idly complain. We have to be people of action. We have to be spirit-led and make the right decisions and ask the right questions. So with that being said, peace, family.